We often hear about diversity, equity, and inclusion, aka DEI, and how that affects corporate America. But have you ever thought about how DEI can affect you as an entrepreneur? In today's episode, we are talking about how DEI can either fuel your growth as a business owner or hold you back. This isn't about just doing the right thing, it's about doing the smart thing. Studies have shown that DEI makes for better businesses, so why will we not, as entrepreneurs, continue the DEI initiatives? Stay tuned as we dive deep into this important topic.
Welcome to the Nurse Boss Shift. It's your girl, Dr. Kiiyonna Jones.
And I'm Christal P, the Hormone NP.
Woohoo! And this week, y'all, this is our part 2 already where we're talking about DEI, but we're talking about entrepreneurship. So for those who are just tuning in, if you did not listen to our episode that was released last week, we really dived into like the definition of DEI and how it could affect healthcare and even our nursing workforce. And so if you didn't get the chance to listen to that, go back and please listen to that. This week, we're really talking about the impact that DEI could have on entrepreneurship. And Christal, I'm going to start with you on this. Let's talk about what your thoughts are on any positives or negatives that DEI could have. If it's withdrawn, if it stays, what impact could it have on us as entrepreneurs, do you think?
Yes. So, the impact on entrepreneurs. So I know for one, there's initiatives as far as those dealing with like government contracting. So there are opportunities awarded for women-owned businesses, Black-owned businesses. So that can definitely be impactful. I see that as probably being the most impactful is those who directly work with the government, and there's big money in that. Also maybe things, such as the trucking industry, because, there's just different opportunities awarded for those groups. So I think as an entrepreneur, those things being taken away can definitely affect, how much a person is bringing in, which can directly affect their business. It can also, and aside from just the business owner, but then it affects the employees, them not being able to, pay their employees. And then it just has a trickle down effect on the nation as a whole, not being able to pay its bills. Also, we heard about childcare. So, those benefits being taken away. What if you've hired someone who depends on those Head Start benefits and now they no longer have that and they have no one to watch their child? Or if you are someone trying to start a business and, depends on those benefits while you're building your business and things like that, DEI or, it being taken away can directly affect that population of people.
Yeah. And, one of the things that when I think about like what you were saying, as far as like trucking companies and like all these different sectors that will be affected, and the way that the truth of the matter is, even in like prior to the change of administration, they still were not receiving the numbers. Like they still were not getting the contracts compared to their counterpart at the same rate, even with DEI in place. To me, that's what concerns me the most, because it's like we already we disproportionately, we don't have access to the same funding, to the same grants as women, as people, as minorities. And even with DEI initiatives in place, we still don't. And so then to take away the initiatives means that that's even less access that we're going to have. So all of these different sectors will definitely be affected. And by the way, you guys, it's not just Black people and people of color. Women are affected in a lot of cases. And even if we were to think about, if we could just use nursing as an example, there are not enough men nurses. We know that. But us as women, we're inclusive. So we're like, we want to have more men. Like we enjoy working on units where I know I do,
right.
where there are men
sure.
because they kind of balance us out, right? But think about if we were to look at DEI reversed and say like, women are just better nurturers. Like they should be the one to be nurses, and made a decision that no, they wouldn't hire men because they're men and they just don't have the same qualities that we have as women. Like that's pretty much what is happening in other sectors, but the reverse. So for people who don't understand, and although men are not, discriminated against at all in our profession, they get paid more. It's only a few of them in the profession, but they make more money than us as women when they come in, and we want them there. So there's a benefit there. But I feel like it's the same. It's like looking at it from that perspective in other specialties or industries, but reversing it. And that's how we feel as women, like women being cops, women being in the military, women being, in the C-suite. It's the same thing. And so if we look at it like, oh, it's just all about people getting a job because they're Black, or people getting a job because they're woman, or people getting a job because they're of their sexual orientation, we are missing it. We are missing it. Not only that, Christal, I just feel like decisions, like I have been so many times in rooms as the only Black person, and I had to be the voice and speak for my community, right? Or I've been the woman, and it's like to speak for women. And like, if we don't have representation, how is that going to trickle down to the end consumer or the end user if we have a bunch of, let's just say, white men at the top, like making decisions for me and my health, or you and your health, or your kids, or your, what does that look like for us? And I think that's my biggest concern. Now, if I were to flip it though, Christal, and I was talking to you on the last episode about like what could be the other side of the coin. I'm a firm believer that diamonds are made under pressure, right? And so this could actually be an opportunity for us to make some real changes. If we're really going to say that DEI is the problem to everything, then why do we ask if people are a woman or a man, or if they're Black or white? Let's take all of that off. Let's change all of our names to Sarah. Sarah, what's a common last name that you
Sarah
wouldn't be able to tell if they're Black or white? Sarah Williams, Sarah. Like, let's give a regular bland name to all of our kids, and let's just go by merit, because that's what they're saying, right? They're like, let's go by merit. So if we were to do that, what would that really look like? Where they couldn't ask us, or they couldn't have like a visual of us. They had to go by our resume and our education and our background. What would that look like?
Yeah, that would be interesting to see, to say the least. And also, we know in this administration, those who have been put into office, a lot of them do not have any merit, right? We're seeing that it's friends, and that's typically what happens, right?
Yeah.
If those who are at the top look a certain way, as you said, straight white men, and they're hiring all their friends who are not the most educated for that position, then that's kind of why these initiatives are needed to be put in place. And that's why they're trying so hard to roll it back, because even with DEI, we haven't even mentioned that the most benefited person from DEI are white women. So, that's what I feel that this administration is trying to do, which is why they're coming under attack. I mean, he said that DEI could have been an issue of why the planes are falling out of the sky. It's just building up fear in people. And it's because that I feel that this administration wants the world to look like that. I feel like they want it to be one thing, and they don't want to give other people opportunity. I think the bigger question is, why is it so feared if women, have these benefits, or if people of color have these benefits? Why are you so afraid of that? I think is another big question. Because you're trying to tear down something, as we talked about last episode, you're trying to tear down something that can only help. It's been shown that having a more diverse business just makes it better for everybody. So I don't understand why there's such a big attack, unless you want it to be one way, which is what's been proven by the people that have been selected to run these high offices.
Yes. And you guys, and we're just speaking from a perspective, because we know most of our listeners are women. And so there's something that I want you guys to know. Now, this is what the research says about us in business. And this is why I said diamonds are made under pressure because they can try to exclude us all they want. And now I'm talking to women, all women. They can try to exclude us all they want, but all it's going to do is breed more strength and more resilience amongst us, and we're going to show up even stronger, faster, and smarter. That's what I believe. But let me just tell you guys what the literature says. Diversity and thought perspective, women bring that into business more than men. Women have stronger communication skills. Women in business focus more on social impact. We're motivated to create businesses that address social issues. Men are not. There doesn't mean that they don't have those out there, those businesses out there, but that's not their primary concern. Women have improved financial performances, okay, compared to other companies because they have to be more resourceful. We already don't have access to a lot of the resources. And you guys, here's the thing. When you think about it like that, you really begin to understand why they are so intimidated from having DEI. Even though DEI regulations and laws have been in place for decades, but they had to find something to shift and put a certain group of people, particularly white Anglo-Saxon males, in charge and to make sure they stay in charge. Because what I believe, and this is based on my research, you guys, it's the writings on the wall that in a matter of less than a decade, that this country is going to have more people of color than white people. Okay. That's just the truth of the matter. Now, some groups of people, and particularly certain groups of white male, they're not happy with that. So they're like, if we are not, so then that's where you have the anti-abortion laws coming into place. That's where you have, it's really about a certain group of people that it's preservation, you guys. And so I believe that the reason why they are so dead set on attacking all of these like laws and regulations is simply because they know they're not going to have the numbers, so they want to remain in power. They want to remain in power. So if they're in power, they can still control even if they don't have the numbers. That's what's happening. And so we can do one of two things. We can just accept that that's the way it is, or we can use that to our advantage. And I really, really, truly think if we start to try to think outside of the box and not just accept this is the way it has to be, I don't care per se about DEI. If I am the business owner, okay, if I am the one that's creating jobs, if I am the one that's providing solutions to the population in which I serve, you can title it what you want. So I think us as entrepreneurs, that's what we need to think about. I would much rather focus on what can I take away from this rather than fighting to try to change the perspectives or beliefs of people or groups of people that believe what they believe. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yep. And I think as business owners, like you said, diamonds being built out of, extreme pressure is just what can we do as business owners? Just continue to, and like you say, you're not necessarily thinking about it. I think that also comes into play just as being a woman, right? Mm-hmm. Like if we're not going to discriminate against pregnant women, and if they need a place to breastfeed, okay, why does there have to be a law about that? So, I just feel as women who are a group of people who these laws were written about, because before, in the olden days, they just wanted us to not have jobs, to be submissive, to be at home. And now that we're all getting educated as women, they don't like that either. So I think that it's up to us, as we said, it's a great time to start your business because you can be a part of that change, and you have the will to hire who you want, to make provisions for those people, to not judge based on a person being different from you. So I think that as women, being that's what the majority of our listeners are, it's a great time to start a business because we can be a part of the solution to these problems. And like you said, not necessarily trying to go out there and fight it so much, but just having having the nurturing nature that we always do, and just doing what's right. I guess it just boils down to that, just doing what's right, and providing people the opportunities, and going outside of maybe, your circle of friends, or who all the people that look like you, and just having the audacity again to make a diverse business for yourself, because that will just show others of what, how there's power in diversity, and including everybody. I don't think that, it's just crazy that we even live in a world where we have to make these laws, but here we are, just
Right.
making laws to be inclusive and being nice to people, and affording them the human rights that they need to be able to perform their job to their highest ability and capacity.
And I want to tell you guys something, like, because I feel like we have a diverse group of nurses who listen to our podcast, and you guys know we are pro nurses. It doesn't matter your gender or religion or sexual orientation. We don't care about that. This is a Black History Month episode, so we are definitely talking about Black history. And Christal and I are women of color, Black Americans born in America. Our ancestry is related to slavery, so this is something that we are passionate about. But I want to let you guys know something also. And I want to be clear. DEI pullback doesn't hurt Black women. Let's be clear. We already were underfunded.
No.
We did not
Right.
receive nearly as much access to funding or grants, or let's not even talk about investor money. Y'all, we bootstrap, most Black women bootstrap their businesses. Let's be clear. So you can't take away what you didn't give us. We already didn't have it. We had to figure it out. And this is what I mean when I say diamonds are made under pressure. So I want the women of color, like Black women who are listening to this, just don't use this as an opportunity to say, maybe I'm not supposed to start my business. Oh, baby, you are. Because guess what? We didn't have access to a lot of that anyway. Now, most women who were the beneficiaries of DEI was white women, you guys. And so I dare to say to white women, don't take this. Like were already benefiting from it. So why would you go against your best interests? Why would you go against your best interests? We as Black women, I'm gonna tell you, we didn't get it. We didn't get access to it. It's look in the literature. Now, granted there are exceptions, but from a more general perspective, we bootstrapped, you guys, using our own funds, using our own personal credit, or tapping into like our family to get money. We didn't benefit from DEI as much as people would think. Not Black women. Now, I mean, we were pretty much at the bottom of the totem pole. I don't know if they realize this. We got to figure it out. What'd you say?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I was gonna say we were at the bottom. Yeah, we were at the bottom. It was definitely white women, and then it was the military community, and then it was the LGBTQ community, um, followed by a few more, and then it was Black people. So we're not having this episode, I guess, to be, for affirmative action has been out long time ago. So it's not like we are talking about this issue because it affects us so much. It affects everyone.
Yeah. Yeah. And you guys, again, I just want to make sure people do not use this as a reason not to start your businesses or continue to stay in it. This is a season, and I'm a firm believer that there's two sides to every coin. With that being said, I have decided, and I hope this kind of inspires anyone who is listening, I've decided to focus on the positive. I know it's hard. I know it's hard because sometimes I get overwhelmed, but I just have to remind myself and focus on, like, what is the positive to this? What is the good side to this? And there is a good side. And you have to find your own silver lining. I found mine. You have to find have you found a silver lining, Chris? What's your silver lining?
Yeah, I guess it rests in. I guess it like you said, it rests in the fact that we never benefited from it anyways. So, the silver lining is to continue to be a good person and continue to, stand up for those who are different, and to hire those who are different in my business, and do what I can in my personal business to put forth the efforts of just being a decent human being and giving everyone their own their rights that they deserve. but also spreading the word to others, like, through this podcast, who might not understand what these initiatives mean or how they affect us. So I guess, continuing to spread the word as we are through this podcast, to continue to educate people on what they can do to support the mission and the initiative.
Yeah, agreed. Listen, you guys, ultimately what we want you to take away from this episode is this is a season. That's going to be the takeaway from this. And just understand it is up to you. And this is what we do as entrepreneurs, you guys. We find the gold at the end of the tunnel, and we use that to help others, to serve others, to build our own generational wealth. And I know it's difficult to see that right now, but I truly believe that this is something that we all can benefit from and learn from. Now, what that's going to be for you may be different than what it is for me, right? It's really made me look into being more resourceful myself, and really stepping out there and getting out there and networking and connecting with my tribe and being able to serve. One of the things that I've done, I'll talk about my little human talk, Chris. One of the things I have done is I started this training on TikTok. I'm not a TikToker, okay, at all. Christal is not either. We're more, we've been on Instagram for so long, so that's where we're comfortable. But I've decided to step out there and connect on a broader level. And I realized that TikTok is able to do that. So there was a movement called Hillman Talk University, where a lot of Black, highly educated professors came on, and they've been teaching all kinds of courses about African American studies, about generational wealth, financial literacy, so many things. And these are professors, you guys, highly educated, by the way. So I said, I'm going to put my little 2-piece in it and my biscuit and show up in it. And so that is an example of something that is a disruptor, but it also, for me, I am not comfortable with it, but it made me put myself out there into uncomfortable territory, which you guys know I'm a firm believer that if you want to grow, you have to be uncomfortable. So it required me to put myself out there. And there's just so much growth that's happening because of that. So I suggest you guys spend some time, really think about what you want to do with this. Even if it's, if the government is not supporting it, there will still be businesses. Delta, I know you mentioned, Christal, that Costco said they're not participating. Well, Delta also said nationally that they're still going to maintain their DEI. It's important. Why would you not do that? It doesn't even make sense. Your consumers you cannot tell me your consumers are not of different backgrounds. You want to be able to serve them so they can come back and support you and spend money with you. So why would you not, right? So that's my perspective. Chris, do you have any closing words before we head out?
Yes, just to circle back to Hillman Talk, because it has got my whole life. It's that's my silver lining. It's I can just learn, continue to learn. If you guys are not on it, really research it. I haven't been on Instagram in 2 weeks almost. But like Dr. Jones said, I think we have to play the game, especially us as minorities. Get in there. There's going to be a lot of the rich are getting richer, especially with this administration. So learning stocks, learning investing, because that's how these people are getting richer and richer. So there's going to be a lot of movement and increase in those fields. So just educate yourself as much as you can. Get in where you fit in, as far as playing the game and just making. They claim they want to make everybody on an equal playing field. We know that's not true, but all you can do is continue to educate yourself, so that you will be in the best position to be able, the best position that we have to, I guess, make sense of this all, and to not make this a losing battle. You just have to, just continue to learn and educate yourself. Listen to podcasts like these, share it, talk amongst your friends, share things. It's time out for us sitting back and not doing anything, even though I know, us as, that's kind of the thing as Black women, Black people, we are kind of sitting back. But while we're sitting back, that's why the birth of Hillman Talk has been so profound, because it's like, while we're sitting back, we're going to educate ourselves so that when it's time to move, it's time to move. So I think everyone needs to be doing that. Women of all different nationalities, LGBTQ community, IA community, just everybody as a whole, we have to educate ourselves so we can be in the best position that we can to be able to fight these offenses.
Yeah. I totally agree. You guys, this is, sometimes, tearing down something gives an opportunity to build up something new. And I know that sounds crazy, and I know there's a lot of fear mongering going around, but Christal and I, another thing is just, we're believers. And so we know who's really in control. And I just suggest that instead of, leaning into all the negative, try to find a way to focus on the positive and what this means for you, especially if you're an entrepreneur, because believe me, there will be opportunities through all of this. All right, you guys. Well, this is going to conclude our Black History Month. We only did 2 episodes, but we still did something in honor of it. And we definitely tackled a topic that is probably one that we'll be exploring again throughout this year, because it doesn't seem like it's going anywhere. So you guys, let us know what you thought about this series, if you like it, and any questions that you may have around it, or any commentary. You guys, we'd appreciate it. As always, don't gatekeep. Make sure you share this out if you know a healthcare entrepreneur, or current or aspiring, who is interested in starting their business and needs to get a perspective from industry experts like ourselves. Go ahead and invite them, y'all. Share this out. If you're watching this on YouTube, thank you for joining us. And also, if you're listening in on all podcasts, don't forget to download the episode. All right, you guys, until next time, see you soon. Bye.